Yo, what's up? My name is Rich. Welcome back to another video. In this video right here, I'm gonna give you 5 reasons why you should not start a clothing brand. All right, so once again, my name is Rich. Welcome to the channel. And in this video right here, I'm gonna give you a few reasons on why you're in the wrong business. First and foremost is going to be if you're only into the profit, which can be a little contradicting, which we will get to a little bit later on in the video. But if you're building a brand, the purpose of it should be the actual message itself. And that means you're willing to do whatever it takes to get the message of the brand across whatever audience and how many ever people you need that brand message to come across of, which means willing to be able to risk everything in order to do so. If you really want to build your brand, it doesn't have to do with the profit. You really have to be passionate about this particular niche. Now, there's nothing wrong with wanting the profit that actually comes with it. However, the mission should be able to push the actual brand's message first and not necessarily the profit first. However, you can focus on the profit and still have a strong brand message as well. But the thing about it is, if you are within the passionate niche and you are pushing a powerful message and your goal is to hit across as many individuals as you possibly can, the profit will come. So I'm not necessarily saying neglect the actual profit. However, focus on the message, focus on the brand, and the profit will come. The second thing is if you are impatient. If you're looking for results the night after you start it, then this might not be for you. Even if you put in the work 200% every single day for months on end, years on end, and your time still has not come, it might not be for you. Just building a brand, building a message for your audience to resonate with you is going to take time. And there's really going to be no cap on how long that time may be. And if you don't have the patience to wait for however long it may be, this game might not be for you. It doesn't matter if you've done the work and how long you've been at it. The game about it is to be patient and to get the message across. A lot of people want the results tomorrow or yesterday, when the real fulfillment should be from the creative ability of you putting into your actual brand and whether you're only touching 1 or 2 people or not. A lot of people want to be able to touch the entire world overnight. And unfortunately, it's not going to happen overnight. So you really need a whole lot of patience in this game, especially if you want to push your brand forward. Another reason why you shouldn't start a brand is if you're not a true creative. You know, the fulfillment, like I said in the previous one, was that the fulfillment really comes from being creative. Whether it's, you don't necessarily have to be a creative designer, but have some type of creative direction so you can tell somebody how to do it. And having a creative in the form of logistics, because at some point in time, when it comes to building this entire brand, it ends up being a business, you have to figure out certain things and start being creative about it. Even when it comes to things like logistics, how to ship out a t-shirt or how to actually produce the garments, whether you're outsourcing or not, you really have to become creative in these fields so that it can fit your brand, whether it's for the sake of the business of it or whether it's the sake of getting the message out. You have to be creative in that type of process as well as like the marketing as well. You know, how are you going to get to your audience, the traffic and whatnot? That right there, you have to be a real creative about it. You have to figure out if you're going to do pop-up shops, giveaways, you know, a whole lot of different things that's going to add into this, that's going to play and show your true creativeness when it comes to this actual marketing part of the game. And that's where you got to get your fulfillment from, is from being a creative, not necessarily the profit. Before we move on to the next reason, let's take a second to thank our sponsor for this video, which is Skillshare. So check it out. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of inspiring classes for anyone who loves learning and wants to explore their creativity and learn new skills. One reason why I joined Skillshare is because of this guy right here, Jeff Stahls. Jeff Stahls is a creative visionary and he's worked a lot in the clothing brand world. Worked for a lot of startup brands and is also the founder of an art department known as Staple Design. But long story short, dude's pretty dope and he has classes on here and it has a lot to do with fashion and bringing your clothing brand to life. He has a course on bringing purpose to product, t-shirt design and manufacturing, getting it made and getting it sold, the basics of sourcing, packaging your fashion brand. So this is pretty dope right here. This adds a lot of value whenever you're trying to build your actual clothing brand. Check it out. These are some of the actual products that he's created within Staple Pigeon, which is his brand. So, you know, there's also always a whole bunch of other classes on Skillshare when it comes to e-com, when it comes to t-shirts, typography, illustration, and design itself. So make sure you check out Skillshare. Also, Skillshare gave me a special link for y'all. The first 1,000 people to click the link down below will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. Another reason why you shouldn't start a clothing brand is if you have a hard time taking risk. Risk is going to be inevitable. And I know I read a lot of comments on like, you know, how much do you spend on this and how much do you spend on that and how much do you spend on ads, how much do you spend on actually creating the garments, what's a good starting point? All of these are risk, you know? A lot of you are asking how much should I invest into, you know, the first amount of t-shirts that I should print. You know, everybody's different. Everybody's, you know, some people do made to order process where when an order comes in, you actually print and produce those actual orders. That's one method. However, some people say, go get some screen printed. Go get 50 t-shirts screen printed. If you have a hard time selling it, then it's a few different variables to it. You're either not a hustler, you're not really all about getting the message across, and it could be some other things. It could be a bad design. It could be a bad message, you know? But if you really wanted to get the message across, then you might want to give some away for free. All of this comes into taking risks, you know, and the best way to learn is by taking the risk and just starting, going after it. It doesn't matter how you start. It doesn't matter if you produce it yourself. It doesn't matter if you outsource. Starting it and taking the risk, taking the jump is going to be the most important thing, because you won't really know the answers to those questions unless you actually attack those questions yourself. You know, one of those things about ads, a lot of people say, you know, ads is a waste of money. It's not working. And the thing about it is, you don't even know how much to spend until you actually do it. And one of the risks that comes with it is knowing that a lot of other people have done it and it might have worked for them, but they got a few of those other variables correct. You know, you can run ads and then all of a sudden it gets to your website. You might have a crappy website, you might have a crappy product, but you won't know that until you take the risk and do it. If you're getting clicks on your actual ad, then the creative might be great, but something's wrong with your website, the price or something might be wrong. And now I'm getting way off topic, but this is all about taking risk. You really don't know what you do actually know, and what you do actually know might already be enough. The true part in it is believing in yourself and taking a risk to seeing if what you know is actually enough to actually do it. And when you actually do it, and if it's wrong, then that's whenever you come back and reevaluate the entire process and redo it again. The whole mission is to take the actual risk in trying new different things, so that way you get the answers to the actual questions that you didn't know you had the questions for. Now, I know that may sound confusing, but the true matter of the fact is just take risk in this game to see what actually works for you. Okay, last but not least, this is one of the reasons why you shouldn't start a brand if you're not interested into turning this entire thing into an actual business. Because although, you know, the goal is to get this message across, you know, it comes contradicting, like I said, but the thing is you have to turn it into an actual business, because it's going to take funding for you to actually launch your business and, you know, get that message across to whatever your audience may be. You really got to learn how to make some money out of this. Whether it's a little or if it's a lot of money, you got to start somewhere so that you can learn business for all of this. You know, it's going to be a lot to it. Especially if you're doing these pop-up shops, you got to figure out how you're going to fund all these garments. If you're going to pay to actually vend at actual events for these pop-up shops, you got to figure out a way to fund these pop-up shops. You know, there's a lot to this. You really have to learn about the business aspect to it, because although your designs may be great, or, you know, everything about your business looks good, you really still have to find a way to fund it. Whether it's finding an investor or finding a way to get more capital, business has to do with all of this. You gotta find a way to make some money out of this so that you can keep funding your dreams, you know? So this is going to be a lot. So if you really want to build a brand, it's gonna take a lot more than just a little bit of funding. The funding will help, but if you don't have the right creative direction to put this funding, then it might not help at all. And you gotta be willing to take the risk to keep pushing this entire business forward, and you have to have belief that what you're doing is right. So there's a whole lot to this, but if you really want to build a brand, these are 5 things you really got to be on the lookout for, and make sure you step forward correctly. So I appreciate y'all for watching. If this video helped y'all out, make sure y'all comment down below, hit the like button, subscribe. I'm gonna catch y'all next time.